Hello and welcome to the Excel Cave. Today we're going to talk about the DATEDIF function in Excel. This is a function that measures the difference in units of days, months, or years between two dates that you specify and also the unit of measure you specify. So in this example we have a list of work projects with their begin date and their projected end date. And what we'd like to do is find the period of time, whether it be days, months, or years, between these two dates. Later on in the video, we'll show a little bit more complex examples of measurements of full months and then leftover days, and then measurements of full years with leftover completed months and leftover days. So we'll get started here. Now, one thing to keep in mind about the DATEDIF function is it is only supported in Excel 2000. However, it is compatible with anything newer than Excel 2000. What that means is if you go up to your formula ribbon up top and look in the date formula section, you will not see that if your version of Excel is newer than 2000. It also means when you enter the formula in a cell, it's not going to show you the required inputs. So you have to know beforehand what the inputs are. I have them here in this black box. You have simply your begin date, your end date, and your unit of measure, which is expressed as a text, like either D for days, M for month, Y for years. So in this example here, we want to find the number of days. Now, if you're only looking for days, it's much easier just to subtract the two cells containing the days from each other. It's quicker, it's faster, it's just easier. But I'll just show you for the sake of example, if we wanted to find the days with the DATEDIF function. So we have our begin date as our first input, our end date is our second, and our third input is just going to be D enclosed in double quotes, and that gives you 212 days. Now what we'd like to do is find the number of months. So same thing again, DATEDIF, you have your begin date, your end date, and this time I'm going to reference a cell that contains our unit of measure, which is M, and that's can come in handy because you don't have to worry about entering the double quotes if you have it as a cell reference. So you can see there's 2 full months between these dates. You can see there are almost 3 months has passed between the two dates, but this function only shows full completed months, so it's not quite 3 months, so therefore it rounds down to the number of full months that are completed between those two dates. We'll get to examples where we show the number of leftover days in situations where we have months that are just partial months. So I'll show that in the next example here in a few minutes. So another thing I wanted to show you is a lot of times folks like to use the and symbol to join text to this function just so end users can see what exactly is being measured here. So you can just add, text along with the and symbol to join the text in double quotes to pull back your number of months and then month as text. So finally, we'll use years, measure years, I should say. So we have our start date, our end date, and we have a cell reference containing Y for years. So you can see, again, This is only going to show you completed full years. Any partials are just rounded down, essentially. So now what I'd like to do is measure the number of completed months and then also show the number of leftover days that makes up a partial month. So to do that, what we'll do is join two DATEDIF functions together with the and symbol. The first one will just have an M in that third argument for full month, and then the second DATEDIF function will have an MD in that third argument for the function, which means look at full months, completed full months, ignore it, and then just give me leftover days. So we'll do that right now. So our first one is just going to look at full months. So we have our begin date, our end date, and then M enclosed in double quotes for full months. We're going to use our and symbol to join some text here because we'd like to have months and then a comma and a space and then another and symbol, and we're just going to copy this, what we've already done, and just alter it. So now what we want to enter here is MD for the function to look at full completed months, ignore that, and then just give the leftover days. And we will change this to days. And there we have it. 6 months, 6 full completed months, 28 days between these two dates. And you can see that can come in handy when you want to know the exact number of completed months and days between two dates. And now we're going to do the same exact thing with years, months, and days. So it's quite similar to what we just did. And to speed things up, I'm going to copy the formula that we already did in this middle column here and paste it in here. Oh, oops. And I'm just going to copy this and alter it just a little. So this time we have years. We want to first look at full years and change this text to years. So we have that, and then we're joining this with a second DATEDIF function that looks at full completed years, ignores it, and then just pulls back the number of full completed leftover months after looking at years. And we have another and symbol that joins the text months with a comma and a space, and then a third DATEDIF function that looks at full completed months, ignores that, and just pulls back the leftover days. So now when we hit enter, you can see the number of completed years, full completed years, followed by leftover months, followed by days. So that is how you can use the DATEDIF function to reflect different units of measure between two dates that you specify. Thanks for watching, guys.